Hi everyone, and welcome back to my black screen series. This is episode 44, and it's a little late. Um, in fact, I'm recording episode 44 and 45 straight after each other, but that's cool. Um, yeah, I've had an interesting couple of weeks. Um, oh, I don't know if I mentioned that I had a storm recently, and no, I think that might have been after the last episode that I posted. Um, anyway, I had a storm recently and my roof began to leak and it wanted to collapse. So instead of allowing it to collapse, I pushed it up, pushing the water off it, and I pushed too hard and popped it out. So then I just put some wood under the bits that had popped out to hold them up there so they didn't fall back in. And my intention was to fix it. And it's been a good week, I think, since that happened. Hasn't rained. I could have fixed it. I really had the money, and I've been busy with the Cybertruck. But anyway, that's another story. Um, yeah. So I didn't fix it. Cut a long story short. Excuse me. Um, so tonight had another storm, and I had a few drips. I didn't have to get up and push the roof up to hold it from falling in. It could have got to that. I was keeping an eye on it. But yeah, I had a few drips, and I discovered where they were, and I put things there to catch the drips, like people do with leaky roofs. And one of them was just near my thigh, near the door, and I forgot it was there. I knew it was there, but I forgot it was so full. And I turned over and put my hand on it and tipped it up all over my mattress, and then quickly only tipped a bit of it up. But yeah, it was a fair bit. Like tipping a cup of water onto your bed. So I got a wet patch on the mattress. My bad, I guess. Um, so what else has been happening? The Cybertruck is almost there. Um, I'll talk about how almost there it is in the next episode, but in the meantime, I'll tell you a few things that I have done to it. Um, the steering's finished. It's a bit iffy. It needs some attention. It needs adjusting, and it needs a re-welded. And that's it for the steering. So yeah, just adjusting and fix a weld up. What else is done? The wheels are on. I have no suspension, but I can assure you I don't really need it at this stage. Unless I start doing some serious off-roading. Probably won't want to be jumping up and down off gutters the way it is at the moment, but it'll be fine for the regular roughness that I have on the side of the road, as long as I'm not flying. As it is. So what else have I done to it? I've installed the brakes. All the wheels are on, and I aligned the back wheels that were sticking out too far. I've got to take them off again and put some shims and washers in. I've got the shims and washers. I didn't have the washers until just a couple of days ago. I had some, but they were too small, and I drilled a couple out and it was just too much work. So I ordered some more and yeah, got them a few days ago, put them on the front wheels. Discovered they're too big now, so I'm going to have to order a specific sized washer and clarify and just get 8 of them, maybe even a few extras, I don't know, wouldn't hurt. Double up, get 16. Only need 8 though. I could probably get away with about 4 or 6 at the moment because I've got a few things happening. Anyway, let's get off topic. Rambling actually. So yeah, what else have I done? Brakes done, steering's done, floor. So I've got the floor done from the back right up to where the front wheels start. It's just that front wheel section and nose section that don't have a floor yet. But I've also got to do the front wheel arches, the inner guards. What else? That's pretty much it. And I think I might end the video. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned in the last video. Actually, a couple of things I will mention. They all happened on the one day, about a week ago. Around probably within a couple of days of when the rain happened with the roof. Anyway, so one of the things was that I was using an angle grinder, and it's just a cordless one. But yeah, I don't use a guard because I use it for intricate work, and I'm always careful with it. I'm not rough on it. And B, I don't use goggles. And finally C, I'm very careful. I keep my head and eyes and face out of the line of fire. So if you understand how a angle grinder works, it's spinning a disc at high speed, and if that disc breaks or something comes off it, or if you chunk into something and knock a bit of metal out, just a fragment, just a hot filing big enough at high speed is enough to destroy your eye. But yeah, so I've got a knack of keeping my face out of the way. If a disc breaks and it gets embedded in my arm or my hand, it's not life-changing, not as life-changing as losing an eye, so I'm normally really good. But anyway, this particular day, I stuffed up, and I wasn't, because I'm even less cautious about it because it's a cordless angle grinder versus a corded one. Corded one's got a lot more power and a lot more kick, and I'm very careful with that. Never had an injury with that. But the cordless one, it's deceptive because it doesn't spin as fast and it doesn't have that same power, so it doesn't feel as dangerous, and it's probably not as dangerous, but it still is bloody dangerous. Anyway, so yeah, I stuffed up, I had my face over it, and I was cutting with a cutting disc, and the cutting disc wasn't new, but it had a fair bit of use. It's probably about close to half worn, and maybe I just put a bit too much sideways pressure on it, and as I was cutting, and the blade just blew apart and bits went flying, and one went straight into my eyebrow, ricocheted off it, and left a gash in my eyebrow and a little graze above it, but it's all healed now. I heal quick. So yeah, it was just a little blood spot just above my eyebrow, and I posted it on Facebook picture, and yeah, that must have been about 8 days ago, I think. 8-10 days ago, I don't know. But anyway, it's starting to rain again. Yeah, so I narrowly avoided losing my eye, and since then I've amped up my respect for the angle grinder. I still don't have a guard or goggles, but I'm just way more respectful towards it and way more cautious, and just before it hits the job that I'm about to do, I'm thinking, where's my face? If it goes bang, moments after I start cutting, where's my face? So yeah, and I think I probably just put a bit too much pressure on it. I was rushing a bit, cutting a bit too aggressively. So that's another thing. That's a lesson, especially with an old disc. Maybe with a new one, you can get away with it for a little while till it starts wearing in a bit. But yeah, old discs, they get thin as well. Because if you're like me, you'll cut a piece of metal and it'll have little edges on it, and you'll run the flat part of the disc, even though it's a cutting disc, just lightly along the edge. Not even putting pressure on it, just enough to knock the burr off if there's a dag sticking out, But you do that over and over again, and it must wear the blade thinner and thinner, as well as losing its diameter. Anyway, so yeah, I narrowly avoided losing my eye, and then probably an hour or two later, the same day, I put Missy into the pool area. Well, she followed me in when I went to get a drink. So yeah, I got shaken by the eye incident, and I sat down, I had a talk, and I took things easy a bit, and decided I've got to chill a bit, So I had a bit of a chill, and yeah, Missy went into the dog area, and yeah, I'd left the other dogs, because she just free roams. I'd left the other dogs over at the van, so they weren't watching her, and neither was I. But I was right next to the pool area, and I didn't hear her fall in. So yeah, Missy fell in the pool, and she nearly drowned. Like, she didn't start gulping water or anything like that. She kept herself afloat and hung onto the side of the pool, but eventually, because she's old and weak, and she didn't find the step, she was at the wrong spot. Yeah, she might have had a heart attack, or might have just started to take on water, because she can't keep herself up. She's too weak, and she probably would have drowned. So, and that could have been, in another 5 minutes, it could have been another 10 minutes, another half an hour. I might have noticed, and it might have been too late, but luckily someone else did. I yelled out, "Dave, the dog's in the pool," and I ran, and she's hanging onto the edge of the pool like a trooper. So yeah, she wouldn't have been able to hang on there forever, but she was hanging onto the edge of the pool with her paws, and her head was completely dry, but she'd been in there. I think when she fell in, she didn't fall in at a bad angle and managed to keep her head up, and so her head was completely dry, but her body was underwater, and she was just holding onto the edge of the pool with her front paws. It was cute, but at the same time it was bloody scary. So at least she was clever enough to just hang on there and wait, but she wasn't smart enough to bark or yell out or cry out or anything. So if she had it drowned, it would have been silent, and I would have just found her floating in the pool. It would have been horrific. I mean, yeah, she's old, and I do expect her to die anytime soon. Like, she could die tonight in her sleep, and I'd be a lot more accepting about that than having her drown on my watch. I was supposed to be caring for her. And, like, she wouldn't have jumped into the pool. It would have been an accident. She would have stumbled. Her vision's poor. I don't even think she would have gone to it for a drink because the water was too far down for her to lick, you know. And it's salt water anyway. There's a water bowl there, so she doesn't need to. But yeah, I think she just misjudged her step and didn't notice the water was there, and or maybe turned around, and before she realised where she was going, she'd fallen in, and I don't know. Don't know what happened, but I missed it, obviously. Just glad that she's okay. Glad that she made it. Glad that I found her. Glad someone spotted her and I found her and got her out in time. She was a little bit exhausted afterwards. But not totally. It wasn't like she got on the side of the... As soon as I put her out, I put her on the edge of the pool. And I expected her to lay there in recovery for 5-10 minutes before she'd even get up from being weak. But not. She's stood there for just... she did drop to her stomach when I put her on the ground. But I think she was just happy to have the ground under her, and she was just gripping onto it with the whole body. And then, yeah, 2 seconds later she stood up, had a shake, starts walking off. She was all fine. But yeah, so I dried her off and gave her a cuddle, gave her some love. Anyway, guys, that's enough for this episode. Yeah, I was almost getting emotional towards the end of that story then. Because just thinking about losing her, you know, the responsibility of... I mean, accidents happen, and I know it would have been just an accident. But yeah, imagine, like, you're just meters away from your dog. There's no music going. It's not, you know... If I did have music on, it would have been pretty quiet. I could hear a splash in the pool. I'm that close to the pool, I can hear a splash in the pool. She's right there in between me and the pool. But yeah, thankfully someone from the house saw from the veranda. They just happened to be walking past and spotted her in the pool. I don't know. Yeah, very grateful it worked out the way it did. And with my eye. So yeah, 2 close calls in the one day. It was a wake-up call that day. I was thinking, oh, watch out for the 3rd one. It'll come today. So I really chilled out, especially after the incident with Missy. Yeah, I don't even think I've continued working on Cybertruck after that for the rest of the day. Sort of took it easy. Anyway, guys, that's enough for this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one, which will be right after this one, but it'll be 45 rather than 44. Love yous, bye.